Hello, welcome to this Bubble tutorial. My name is Paul No Code. I am your favorite person on the internet that teaches you how to build with no code. Today, I'm going to run through this. Is a crash course. In this crash course, I'm going to show you the fundamentals of building applications with Bubble. Bubble is a very cool tool that you can use to build web applications and mobile applications without breaking the bank. It's awesome that Bubble is going to be rolling out their mobile development environment very soon, and you should look out for that. So without further ado, let's get started. This is the Bubble platform. It's a very cool platform. You can build web apps and anything you want to build. You can check out the pricing if you're just getting started. That's an important place to get started. And if you think that the price is right for you, the price will always be right for you when you consider other tools, paying a developer, other tools. It's going to be definitely right for you. But you can start from the free plan, as you can use almost everything on the free plan. But if you want to use things like backend workflow, a lot of other stuff, you have to jump into the free trial or sign up for the $29 a month plan. Right, so that's it. So if you have an account, you go ahead and log in. If you don't have an account, you click on the get started to create your account. It's just enter your email and your password, and that's all you need to create your account. Okay, so if you have developed with Bubble before, you'll be welcome with this screen that shows you all your Bubble application. But if you've not, you simply go ahead and click on the create application, name your application. So in this tutorial, we're going to build a simple blog creation application. A simple content creation application that allows you to blog, allows you to write content, put a title, and save it. Because that's basically what you're going to be doing with Bubble a lot. You're going to be creating, you're going to be reading, you're going to be updating, and you're going to be deleting. That's what most app applications do. If you're able to do that, trust me, you are like 90% better than every other person who can program in this world. So we're going to name our application. I'm going to name my application Goody, and Bubble gives you the chance to start from a template. So these are templates, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to start from scratch, right? Let's say start with basic features. We don't want to upgrade our applications. We're just starting from basic features, and within a few seconds, your Bubble application is set. That's how easy it is. So we want to skip the assistant. We don't want to add any assistant. So this is the Bubble environment, and this is where all the magic happens. Everything you're going to do, this is where it happens. Bubble greets you with a blank canvas, and on this blank canvas, you can create anything and everything. So you just want to look at your screen. You see on the left hand side, this is where you perform all the magic, on this left hand side. On the right hand side, this is where you have your canvas. So this is what it's called a canvas. That's what it's called. This is where everything, your screen, your application, this is where everything lives, right? Don't worry, I'm going to explain all of this to you within 30 minutes. Right, so first thing first, you'll be greeted with this part where you get to differentiate between the UI builder and the responsive builder, right? The UI builder, this is where you make all your good things, all the good things happen. The responsive builder, instead of switching to your browser to see if your page is responsive, you can literally figure it out here. You can literally add things here to see if your page is responsive or not, right? So we also have this part where we have workflow. So think of workflow as on-click action, right? On click. So if I click, what's going to happen? If my user click on the button, what's going to happen? If they click on the form, what's going to happen? If they click on an input, what's going to happen? So you're just creating actions, just like the way you have it on your phone. For example, you're browsing on TikTok. If you click on the picture, if you click on the video, you can tell it to pause, you can tell it to keep going, you can tell it to stop. That's the same way it is here. So actions are it's no biggie. You just click on something and you're asking them, you're telling your application to do something. For example, if you click submit on a form, what you're looking for is that you want that form to be submitted by the user, right? Sometimes if they click submit, depending on how they fill that form, you can actually say, oh, I want to check to see if all the form fields are completed, right? So right here we have the database. We have data types, we have privacy, we have app data, we have option sets, and we have file manager, right? The data types, you basically just want to create the kind of things that you want in your application, right? Remember, we are creating a blogging application, and one data type that we're going to create, it's called a post, right? Every blog will have a post, right? We can also add things like categories to it, but we don't want to. We just want to make it as easy as possible. So if I click on post, I'm just going to say create, right? And when you create the post, Bubble greets you with the creator, right? With some field, some built-in field like creator, date it was modified, creator date, and slug. But when we open this data type, you will notice that Bubble has this default data type, which is called the user. Why? Because everything in Bubble has to be tied to a person, right? It has to be tied to a user. Your user can be a chatbot, it can be you, a person, but everything has to be tied to a user. So Bubble comes with a default data type, which is called a user. So if we want to create a post, what do we think a post will have, right? What's the characteristics of a post, right? You've used blogs apps before. So what do you think a post will have? A post will have a heading, right? It will have a heading or a title. So let's call it title. It will have a title, and that title will be a combination of text and numbers. For example, I want to say 20 I want to write an article, so I could say 20 things you shouldn't do in Dubai, 40 things you shouldn't do in Dubai. So these are tests, right? They are tests and they are string. So you want it to be very, very cool. So we have different type of basic types here. We have text, we have numbers, we have numeric range, we have dates, we have yes or no. You're going to be using yes or no in your Bubble journey. We have image and we have file. But based on what we are creating right now, we need to create a text. I'll say create. And now that we have the title, what else do we need? We need the post itself. So we need the article itself, right? All the the long test or the article. So we're going to call this test again, which is fine. And that we don't need to add anything else. We could add date created, right? We could add date created, but it's already here. Date modified is already here. So I think one thing is missing. We can add post image, right? And you guessed it right, it's definitely going to be image. That's all we have to do right here. That's all we have to do right here, right? So let's go ahead and we can see, when we come to app data, we can see all the users that we have, and we can see all the posts that we have. But right now we don't have any posts, we don't have any user, so we can't see anything. If we come here, option set, this is the way you will store things that you use all the time in your application. For example, you're thinking of a drop down, right? Let's just say our post have some kind of category. So I can create my option set and I'll call it category. I'll say create, right? My new category would be like movie, would be horror, relationship. I would say sports, right? So this just means that our post can have different categories, can be attached to different categories, right? So if I come back to my data type right here, I can click on my post now and I would say category, and my category is going to be my type option set, right? It's going to be my category option set. And to show what that is, if I come here, I can tag it, I can tag it, but it's not going to work. It's not going to do anything right there. So that's like the default. So that means every time I create a post, it should be like the horror, if I'm calling it the horror part of things. All right, I hope you get it so far. So let's go the styles. This is where we're going to add so many different type of colors to our application, but we're not going to cover this because I just want to show you the basics. Style is the basics, but it's not something that you don't care so much for. But I just want to show you the technical aspect of things, so you mostly know if Bubble is right for your project or it's not right for your project, and also if Bubble is something that you want to try, that you want to keep doing, or you want to keep using for your app, or you want to switch into something else. So let's go back to our design. So this is our dashboard. The default that Bubble will give you will be called the index. So don't forget to always change your page title. The name of our app is Goody, and I'm going to say your personal blogging too. So that's Goody, right? And then I'm just gonna chill. That's basically what I want to do. I can change the background here, I can change the color here, background style, just like the way the name says background styles. I can change the color here as much as possible, but we're just gonna chill with white, right? And one cool thing that you want to take a look at, it's your layout. So Bubble has 4 different type of layout: faced, aligned to parent, row, and column. Those are the 4 layouts that Bubble will give you. But majority of the time, you don't want to use faced because you will not be able to get things around. Say for example, if I come back here, right, I'm going to come back to my builder, and I'm going to add a few things. So these are all the assets that you're going to be needing in your application. Remember, you're going to be using icons, links, shapes, images, video. That's all what make up a web page or a mobile application. Say for example, I want to create a container where everything lives, right? So Bubble has a page which is a top level container, and then I can add this type of container which is called a group, right? I can add this group. But because this thing over here is a feast, the page itself is feast, this group can be anywhere I want it to be. So for example, I'm going to add a color to this top level page right here. I'm going to probably give it a blue, a 10% blue. And then this over here, I'm going to give it a 10%, a 20% blue, some detaching style. I'm going to give it background flat. I'm going to give it blue, and I'm going to give it a 20%. So you can see how this look like, because this is faced, so this can be anywhere. It can be on top, I can bring it down here, so it's not going to be good. So it's good if you want to keep laying things on top of each other. Say for example, I want to keep, okay, I'm going back to my layout. I'm going to increase the height to 2000, right? So if I want to keep laying out things on top of each other, right, let me lay this in, so bring it in, right, on top of each other, it's fine. So if I duplicate, you can see the one I duplicated, it's still on top. I will have to bring it down personally myself. But if I want to keep on doing it like this, it's fine. I can use the face. If I make it responsive, it's not going to shrink well. It's not shrinking because it's faced. So there's a whole lot of things going on with mobile that if you're building, you would definitely have to be building for the mobile screen. And if you're using this type of layout, it's not going to work out for you. So meanwhile, you can always preview, right? You can preview your application by clicking on the preview button right here. Right, you can preview it, you can share it to your friends, you can see exactly what you're building. This is what we're building so far, right? This is what we've done so far. It's not a whole lot, right? So you can preview this, you can share it with your friend. You can simply just copy this application, make the debug mode false, and then you can copy this link and just share it to your friend, and there you go. Right, so let's make this super responsive. So if I click on this, if I click on the index, which is our page itself, our first page, I can click on this and say I'm going to make this a row, right? I'm going to make this a row. So you can see how these things are arranged. Now that I've made this a row, right? I just made this a row, and you can see how it's arranged, right? It's a row because things keep going, keep spreading horizontally, and if there's no space for you to keep spreading horizontally, it moves beneath. If there's no space again, it moves beneath. But if I come back here to the index and I make it a column, yeah, everything just stack on top of each other. So this here is a different, I'm going to change this here is different, 20%. This here is different. I'm going to make it another 20%, turn it to green, 20%. So you can see they are all different, right? So remember, this in here is the index, which is the page, and these are just placeholders and they are containers. Right, that's what it is. So here I can then turn this thing, or again I can, you know, turn this. This is fixed height, right? Fixed width, that means the width has to be fixed, and we have fixed height. So if I change this, right, it's gonna go all the way end to end. That's where it's gonna go to. Here I can change this, it's gonna go end to end. Right here I can change this, it's just gonna go end to end, right? And I can come back here to my index and I can turn this into a row over again. So what it's doing is just gonna take equal spaces every single time, right? So I really hope that you understand me. So I'm gonna delete this other one. Oh, don't worry, not gonna delete it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drag this group B and group C into group A, right? So into group A, I'm gonna drag it. So that's how you drag in Bubble. So we have this single group A. We now have group B and group C inside. So this group A, we can also change it from column into a row. So if we change it from column into a row, everything is gonna be side by side. right? That's what it's going to be. If we come back here and we say no min width, right? And we come back here, we don't have a min width. Everything is going to be equal half. So everything is going to split into equal halves, right? So I hope you get it. I hope you're getting me. Right here, we have min height. So I'm going to turn this min height 600. And this right here, we have a min height. I'm going to take the min height. Just if I click on this, it's just going to, take the min height away. And that's pretty fine. So if you want to be part of a no-code community that gives you real-time feedback, there's always sending you emails of what's happening in the no-code community. So you can click on the link below to join our no-code community. It's straightforward. We're not going to bug you. You can take part in challenges. You can take part in events. You can see some of our products if you like it. We offer free products and paid products. You can find it right there. And also you can find me here if you're looking forward to solving your no-code problem. I offer 60 minutes consultancy calls. You can reach out to me. I can help you get unstuck, and also I can also build your entire projects for you. Thank you. Let's go back to learning. So Bubble is a very cool tool. It takes time for you to get over it because I've been developing with Bubble for a while, so that's why I'm able to do all of this. But really, if you are not able to perform all this magic real time, just go over it again and you'll be able to do it. So remember I said that we're going to be building a blogging application, so let's get started with doing that. The reason why we're doing that is because I want to show you how to create, read, update, and delete records in Bubble, and that's the basics, and that's the most important thing that you need to learn how to do for you to learn how to build with Bubble. Right, so first thing first, I'm going to come back here. I'm going to come back to my layout. This is 1040. I'm going to turn it to 1440, so it's a lot bigger. And this layout, I'm going to turn it into a column instead of a row. So this first row, I'm going to use it for creating the blog post, and the second row, I'm going to use it for displaying the blog post. Right, that's what I'm going to do. So this, I'm going to increase this to like 600, right? This right here, I'm going to increase it to 600. Don't worry, it's not something that you have to. And right here, I'm going to give it padding of 40, 40, 40, 40. So padding is just the spacing between an element and what's inside, a container and what's inside. So if you're going to be creating blog posts, how do you want to do it? First of all, you need to be signed up. You need to be signed into the application for that to happen. If you're not signed into the application, there's no way you can create such blog posts. And how do you sign in? You sign in using a form. That's how you sign in. So I'm going to create something. I'm going to put in a form in here. So I'm going to put a form in here. Inside this color, I'm going to turn it into null. My index, I'm going to turn it to null, and I'm going to turn it to null. In here, I'm going to turn it to none. So now everything is all white. This is my group inside. So I'm going to turn this group. I'm going to call it authentication. I'm going to call it authentication. So we just want to create a sign up flow. That's what I want to call it. And in here, in my group, I'm going to turn it into a row so that everything is side by side. That's what I'm going to turn it into. And I'm going to click here. I'm going to say height, min height. I'm going to give it my height. Everything is going to go down top to bottom. And I will just duplicate it. So that's just what I did. So this is authentication, and this is going to be post creation. So we're going to create our post in one, and we're going to authenticate on the other one. So on this authentication part of things, I'm going to put a tiny color. I'm going to put a tiny color detach. I'm going to put a background color, turn it into blue, and I'm going to give it 20% right there. This right here, I'm just gonna leave it that way. And on my layout, I'm gonna put some space between. Don't worry, put 20, so we can have some space in between. Okay, so right here, I'm gonna put a form. I'm gonna put an input. So don't worry, that's how you put stuff in Bubble, by using an input. So this is my input right there. I'm going to put everything in the middle, and so one input, it's going to be for login, is going to be for email, and the other input is going to be for password. So remember, you always need your email and your password to log in into your application. And then on my layout, I'm going to put some spacing. So I'm clicking the authentication layout. I'm going to put some spacing in between the input and the login. Right? That's what I'm doing. In order for us to stop this confusion, I'm going to say none. I'm going to remove the background. I'm going to say none, but instead, I'm just going to pull some sort of a border around it. Okay, take this color off. I'm gonna put a button. So I'm not very careful with the styling right now. I'm gonna put a button into it right there, and then I'm also going to put the button at the middle of things. So we have 60. So here we have the button, and I'm gonna say sign up, right? Sign up. That's what I'm gonna say. And so when users click on this sign up, that's what I was telling you about workflow before. So when they click on this sign up, we want to do something. So here, when the user click on this button, I want to do account. I want to say sign the user up, right? So when we come back here, what do we want to sign the user up with? We want to sign them up with the input email. I want to sign them up with the password. So I go back here, sign them up with what? So I'm going to be input. I'm going to click on input email, and what we're signing them up with is the value. And the other one is input password, right? Input password. And what we're signing them up with is the value, right? So after signing them up, what do we want to do? We just want to remain on the same page. Navigate on, go to page, and we're going to remain on the index page. That's what we're going to do, nothing else. So with this, we'll be able to create a post. Right, so let's go back to our post creation screen. So I'm going to give it a border. I'm going to make it a bit thicker, 5, and then I'm going to give it a green color so that you know we are going forward, right? Then I'm going to put a multi-line input. So this input is super cool because it can take a whole lot of text. So remember, if you're doing post, if you're posting, you want the user to be able to post a whole lot, right? And then we'll add a button to it. We'll add a button to it, and I'm going to go back to my button, and I'm going to turn it to 50 min height, and I'm going to put it in the middle, right? For the height, I'm just going to allow it to go from top to bottom, and in here, inside this, I'm going to give it a huge gap of 40, right? And then inside this container, I'm going to put padding all around 40, 40, 40, 40, right? So we have our inline input over here. These are inline input over here. I'm going to give it a border too, and I'm going to give it a color, right? Probably give it a blue. Okay, just give it a pink. I'm going to give it 40%, right? So we want to run this thing through in 30 minutes. So what do we want people to actually do over here? Remember, if we go back to our post, right, we have app data. So that means a person will be able to add articles, will be able to select categories, and they will be able to select image and put title. So that means outside the input, we still have a few things left, right? We need to add the ability for people to add images to it. So image, so I'm going to say image picker. So we have this picture uploader, so we're going to put it here, right? Picture uploader, that's one. Then we also need ability for people to impute their title. So I'm just going to duplicate this one and put it in here. So I'm duplicating and putting it in there, right? Take it to the left. My layout, don't worry, I'm going to shoot a different video entirely covering layout. So this is my layout, and I'm going to say impute your title, as I'm going to call it. And then we have one thing left, and that's category. Yeah, so we're looking for the drop down. That's what we're looking for. So this drop down, it's gonna be 4 categories. So I'm gonna say 50. I'm gonna let it go end to end, and that's how users will select their category. So I'm gonna say select category. So we have 5 minutes more. Select category, and this edit here, it's going to be for post, So we're just going to title this and call it post. That's what we're going to call it. So we have this title, we have category, we have the test itself, and then we have the article itself, we have the image, and then we have the post. So now when the user click on this post, what do? We simply create a record. That's what we're going to do. We click on this, and what we want to do is to create a thing, right? Create a new thing. That's what we want to do. Create a new thing. And what kind of thing do we want to create? We want to create a post, right? And then we want to add everything. So for the article, we want to, it's going to be the multi input. That's going to be the article value. Then for the title, it's going to be the title value input, title value, right? Then for the image, it's going to be uploader. It's going to be the picture uploader value. Then this is where we're going to have a bit of an issue. The category is it's supposed to be the drop down, but we can't find the drop down. Why? Because we didn't tie it together. So what we're going to do, we click here on this category. We're going to say dynamic choices. And where's that choices going to be coming from? It's going to be coming from right here. It's going to be coming from our option sets. That's where it's going to be coming from. So it's going to be coming from our category option set, which is this one. And the source is going to be all the category, right? And it's going to be the display of that category. So don't worry, you might not get it. I'm going to show more video. I'm going to show you a place where you can get all of this very well. So then we'll go back to our posts. We'll go back to our workflow. Click right here, and then we will see category. We will see our drop down. We click on our category right there, and then we select. We get an option. So that's what we want to do first. We want to get an option, and the option is going to be we get an option, right? Click right here. We're going to be drop down display. What's going on now? I think I'm having trouble with the category. I'm just going to leave that so we can quickly cover things up, right? Probably show you in a different course entirely. So when we click on the post, that happens, and then when we create it, what do we want to happen next? We want to reset. So we want to reset relevant input, right? That's what we want to do. Okay, so once we reset the input, once we're done resetting the input, now we can display everything right here. So to display it, I'm going to be using a repeating group. That's what I'm going to use to display everything right here. I'm going to use the repeating group. Let's go find it. It's called a repeating group. It's an example of a container. That's where it is right here. I'm going to put the repeating group right here, and this is going to display all the posts. So this is going to be a post right there, and it's going to be, let's say, 4 column. That's fine. And in here, we're going to say we're not going to feed height to content, right? And then we'll click right here, and we're going to add a container inside, right? We're going to add a container inside. That's what we'll do here. A group in here, right? We'll add the container inside. That's what we just did. Inside my repeating column, I'm going to change the min height to 500, right? So that it's big. And this is my container. This is the group housing my container, my repeating column. I'm going to, right? So this is my number of row. I'm going to say no. I'm not going to set fixed number of row. I'm going to go to my layout. It's a column. Yeah, so it's 500 now. I'm going to click on this one. And here, this is where I'm going to add all the things I want to add, right? My height, I'm not going to feed height to content. I'm just going to make it min height 400, right? So I'm going to add my text to it. This is going to be the title, title. I'm going to duplicate this. This is my text, and this is going to be the article. So that's going to be the article, and remember that we have an image in there. We have an image right there, right? We have this image, so we have the article, we have the image, and then we have the category. I'm going to take the color of it so you're able to see everything very well. So we have the title, we have the article, we have the image, and then we need to have the category. But I'm not going to put that in since we didn't add that to it. And then I'm just going to take the image on top of it. So this is the article, this is the image. So remember, the repeating group, we said the repeating group is post, right? And it's just going to be all posts. So I'm just going to make it display all the posts. So if you say post, don't worry, it's nothing. Just going to make it display all the posts in the category in the database itself. And this type of content is going to be called a post. So that's basically the way you would push things, right? Current sales post. So it's called a repeating group is because you're displaying multiple items inside one. That's what you're doing. Right here, I'm just going to find that post. It's going to be parent groups post title, right? Don't worry, you'll get it. This is going to be dynamic, and it's going to be parents group post image, right? This article is going to be a lot. This is going to be dynamic. It's going to be parents group post article, right? So this article, I'm going to click on the layout. So don't worry, fit width to content, fit height to content is fine. And then now I'm just going to add gap. So gap is the way you would add spacing between all the elements, and I'm going to add padding to it, probably 20, 20, 20, 20. That's what I'm going to do, right? So now we can go ahead and check out our application and see the way it works. So this right here, this is the group that is displaying everything. I'm just going to say fit height to content, which is already there, so it's fine. So let's go ahead and preview everything we've done so far and see how it works. So we have our sign in, we have our sign up, and then we have our repeating group at the bottom. It's not showing right now because we don't have it yet. So here I'm going to put an email for, oh no. So let's go back again. This ought to be an email feed, not a password. This ought to be an email, not a password. So I'm just going to refresh again. So every content you make with Bubble, you have to refresh. So I'm going to say paul24@gmail.com, password 123456789, and sign in. So now we're signing right now. Don't worry, we're signing right now. We have a user. If we go back to our database and we check it right here, click on our data, click on all our user, we would see that we will be signing. So just hold on, refresh. We would see our data here that we're signed in to this database. So you can see that this user is already registered. We have the email, we have the created date, and we have the modified date. So I'll come back here and I'll create a post. My first post. Oh, we still have this as a, we still have this again as a password. This is supposed to be a test, not a password. So let's go back. I'm going to refresh this. So while I'm refreshing, I'm going to look for lorem ipsum so I can copy the post. So I need a very, very long post to copy. So I'm going to copy this. So I'm going to go my first post. And then I'm just going to click right here. I'm going to upload an image. Any image of my choice is fine. Food. Yeah, I'm going to upload an image of my choice. And then I'm going to make that post. Right? So I'm going to make that post. And number 2, my second post. And I'm going to copy this. Copy this. And I'm going to post that in. I'm going to look for an image again. And I'm going to post that in. Our post is not displaying right. I'm going to check it out. So if we go back to our database and we click on all posts, we can see we have 2 posts right there. But let's come back here to our repeating group data source. Do a search for all the posts. Okay, I think this is what we didn't do. No constraint, ignore empty constraint. Yeah, this is what we didn't do. Do a search for all the posts. Yeah, we're supposed to do that. We didn't do that. So if we come back here, refresh, we should have everything that we need right here. So you can see these are our first post and these are our second post. These are posts with the image, right? These are posts with the image, and this will be our second post with the image. So we didn't see the image, so I'm going to create another one. Right here. Okay, my third post. I'm going to put this here, post. I'm going to add an image to it. Add a different image to it. Okay, so I'm waiting for this to upload. And then I'm just going to post it. So if I post it, I'll be able to see my second post, my third post, So this is my first post, this is my second post, this is my third post, right? So everything is floating into each other because of this, right? Because of this, that's why everything is floating into each other. Min width, fit width to content, fit height to content, fit width to content. So that's basically what we have to do right here. Fit height to content, that's it. So we're fine. So basically, I just wanted to show you how you too can begin creating your own application with Bubble, and you can get started. So it's not too difficult to get started. It's easy to get started. You too can create all of these things. You can see our posts right here. You too can begin to create a mobile apps with Bubble. If this was a blogging application, we'll definitely be able to flesh this out and create it. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you build. Go ahead and replicate this. The bug that I had, my inability to choose select category, I'm gonna go figure it out and fix it. So I finally figured it out. So you can see the tag here, the category tag here. So this is how I did it. It's super straightforward. I missed a few things because I was in a hurry to hit the 30-minute mark. So I'll go back to my Bubble dashboard again. I'll click on my create post. Remember, we did the drop down right here, you know, the select drop down right here, and the name of the drop down is select category. It's not called drop down. If we come back here, we will see that the option set, these are the option sets right here. And then I'll come back to my design, click on my post button. This button, this is the one I'm clicking, edit workflow and create new post, and I'm going to add the category to it. Click here, then it's going to be select category value. That's it, nothing else. Select category value, that's it. So we'll come back here, do a refresh and just add the post, my 7th post. Choose the category. I'm going to choose probably horror and put in the article. Choose the image right there. I'll choose the image right here. So this picture is definitely horrible. So I'm going to post, and once I post, you should see it right here. My fifth post, my 7th post is it. There's the picture. You can see they're horrible, and then we have the category test. So that's how you do it. Thank you very much. Yeah, we got it. If you're looking forward to building your mobile application with Bubble, feel free to reach out to me by clicking on the link below. And also, if you want to join a community of builders who are really kicking it, who are really building stuff, you want to get tutorials, templates, and a whole lot more, feel free to click on the link below to join our community. It's right there. Join our community, and you'll definitely receive real-time feedback on how to build with no code, how to develop with no code, and a whole lot more. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.